Hiya VC, just a quick warning before the video starts. I'm the midge that's from a bit further on in this video, and I just want to warn you, it gets a bit down, but it has got the things in it on the description that I'm going to talk about, but it gets a bit depressing and a bit on a downer. So if you want to skip that bit, just go straight to the bit where I start holding records up. I just don't want to trigger anyone, that's all, bring anybody down. But yes, it might be best if you just, I'll keep it in because I can't be bothered to edit it, and some people might be interested, I don't know. But yeah, it's just a little warning before the video starts. And yeah, I won't be offended if you skip it. It probably ends well. The video probably perks up, but I can't say that for certain because I haven't done it yet. I'm in the middle of it, so yeah. So I'll see you in a bit. Hang on.
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
These doors, you can see people behind us here trying to get in. They've had to shut them because there's been fighting. People have been crushed on the floor.
Oh gosh.
This morning where people have just had their shoes, their clothing ripped from them.
He was like running around with his belt, like swinging it at people, and then like out of nowhere some guy came behind and like jumped on his back and just started choking him.
Hello vinyl community, Midge here again, a guy in a hat who likes to talk about Record Store Day. But before we get on to that, I'm going to do a little bit of a preamble about a few things. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Midge, your videos are long enough anyway. I mean, even Peter Jackson would struggle to sit through your videos. Don't make them any longer. But, there's stuff I want to talk about that's, not always record related, but it is related in a way. But if you're not interested in any of that, and I get that, just, use your finger and just fast forward to the bits where I start holding records up. It's fine, I won't be offended. I totally get it. You're not here to hear about me, you're here about the records, and that's, that's fair enough. But anyway, as you know from my midweek video, I did a midweek video, yeah, get me, proper YouTuber. Yeah, I've had a really terrible week, really, really bad week. I'm not going to go into details. 3 separate incidents, all, knocked me duck off a bit, knocked my confidence. And I don't have a lot of confidence to start with, to be honest with you. I have a very sort of fragile equilibrium with the world. I tend to find that I ignore the world and the world ignores me. And, that's the agreement we have. But sometimes it doesn't always work that way, and people get involved, and people are complicated, aren't they? On the whole, I find them quite complicated anyway. So yeah, it knocked me duck off a bit, and then my brain starts attacking me, and then it starts turning on that 50-foot neon sign in my head that says loser, and it takes a while sometimes for me to find the switch to turn it off. So it's not been a great week, but all the way through I was thinking Record Store Day at the end of the week, something to look forward to, but by the time it came around, I must admit I'd lost all enthusiasm for it, to be honest with you. And yeah, it sort of soured a bit. Actually, this video is getting quite a bit heavy, isn't it? Yeah, hang on a minute, I'm just going to go back to the start of the video and put a warning or a disclaimer in. Just give us a sec. Yeah, I thought that was only fair, but put a bit of a warning in. But if you're still here, congratulations. But anyway, yeah, bad week. Got to Record Store Day. Wasn't really fussed. But also, during the week, we were talking at work about wigs and stuff. I can't remember how we got onto it. But somebody came up with this term, like for people that use all sorts of different things on their hair to try and give the illusion that they're not bald and that sort of thing. And someone said the term complete hair solution. And I love that. And it stuck in my head all week. And I thought, what a great insult that would make, a complete hair solution. And it became more relevant as the week went on. And I just thought to myself, I've had a complete hair solution of a week. My boss at work has been a complete hair solution as well. And all the other things that are happening, just made for a complete hair solution. So that's just the term that stuck in my head this week. You feel free to use it. I use it all the time now in my own head when I'm talking about people who are pains in the arses, particularly. They're a complete hair solution. But I just thought I'd mention that. Why? I don't know. Anyway. I'll come on to Record Store Day in a minute, honestly. But the other thing I wanted to mention, which was a bit more positive, to be honest with you, I've hit 500 subs this week, and that's mind-blowing to me. Honestly, absolutely crazy. I think there's something wrong with you lot. And I don't do false modesty. And I don't get it. I really don't. I'm great that you're all here. I love the fact that you're all here, but I don't honestly get it. All the time I'm thinking, go and watch his videos or go and watch her videos. They're so much better put together and so professional, and you don't get tied up in knots, and you don't end up saying the same things over and over again in your reviews like I do. And there's so many people on here that do it better, so I don't really know why you're here, to be honest, but I'm glad you are. I mean, it's great having, people watching your videos and that, so I'm not complaining, honestly. I don't get it. I don't, honestly get it, but it's great that you're here. And I thought, because I've hit 500 subs, this is probably the best time to bring out some merch, because all the best channels on YouTube have merch. It's just one of those things. But I was thinking about this and I thought, to be fair, it's only the American channels really that have merch. And I think that's because they're so much better at not bigging themselves up, but perhaps better at self-promotion, perhaps better at not being ashamed to get into these things, because I think the British on the whole are a bit embarrassed about, putting yourself forward and saying, buy a t-shirt with my face on it and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to break the mold here. I'm going to take a risk. So I've designed some t-shirts for 500 subs. I don't know if anyone's interested. I'm just going to show you them now. I'm quite pleased with them. I'm just about to say the phrase that's on one of them. So that just shows you I'm on the right thing. So the first t-shirt is the phrase, "to be honest with you." And I say it all the time in my videos, and I don't say it anywhere else. But I must say it 4 or 5 times in every video, and I don't really know why. But if you want, it could be a catchphrase. So that could be the t-shirt for you. The next one I came up with, and obviously this is a more recent one, it might catch on, it might not, complete hair solution. So, it could, if this insult takes off, it could be a great pop culture buzzword. And I want to get in on the ground floor before anyone else does. So if you fancy, I'm not saying do a complete hair solution if you're wearing it. I did think about rephrasing it to put, "I'm not a complete hair solution," or something like that. But yeah, complete hair solution could be a winner. The next one, Karamax should be running this channel. He's had a few appearances and people seem to think he warrants a channel of his own. He's much better than I am. You've got a point, but yeah, that could be a good t-shirt to start off on. This is one of my favourites. I'd rather be watching Rob Walker, and I don't blame anybody for that. I mean, you're probably rather watching anybody at this stage, because we're nearly 10 minutes into video and I haven't said anything about Record Store Day yet. So yeah, that could be it. I think that's a winner, that one. And another one that I think I'd finish on is, anybody want a Porter Wagner album? And, that could be a winner if you like Porter Wagner, or you don't even like Porter Wagner. That could be a good one. So anyway, I'm releasing this merch in honour of you lot. I thought I'd give something back. The fact that, you've stuck around and you're interested in, God knows why, all the stuff I come up out with, the inarticulate, inaccurate stuff that I come out with week after week. So thank you very much for subscribing if you have. Although I think you could do with some sort of, mental agility test, really. No offence, but yeah, great to hit 500 subscribers. I don't really know what's happened. But anyway, let's move on. Let's do something more positive after this week. And let's talk about Record Store Day. Hey VC, Midge here. I've just parked up in town. I'm just on the way to Bear Tree Records to see what's left, see how the queue is and all those shenanigans. On the way here, I think I've managed to run over 2 people who were after the same album I was. So fingers crossed, I'll get everything that I want. So let's see how we get on. Okay. Let's talk about Record Store Day. And if you did skip the other bits, you missed out on some merch actually. So you might be better to go back a bit. But this is the meat and potatoes of the video, obviously. So I don't blame if you skip to this bit. So Record Store Day. So full disclosure, I didn't get up in the middle of the night. I didn't queue all night because I just, I think those days are past me now. And as though the list was really good, I thought, for me personally this year, there's loads of stuff I wanted on it. As you know, if you've watched my other videos, you've not watched them. Oh well, I don't blame you, but you missed out. You missed out. It was almost like the Forsyth saga or the Lord of the Rings. So this is the final part of the trilogy. So yeah, I had a really extensive list which I narrowed down over the videos. And I think I was left with about 10 titles, and it was still too many. I still couldn't afford that, or even I didn't want to spend that much money, but I couldn't narrow it down any further. I just couldn't make a decision. So I thought what I'd do is I'll go to Record Store Day, but I'll go in the middle of the day and just see what's left, because hopefully then the decision would be taken out of my hands somewhat, and it would help narrow down the selection, which it did. So I think, if I'm fair, I'm just looking at my list now. I had 9, I think, that I really struggled to knock it down to, and some choices I took off that I wished I'd left on. But so out of the 9, I got 6. So I don't think that's pretty good going, I think. Got in the car, rocked up about I think it was about 2:00. To my local record shop. Big up Bear Tree Records, best record shop in Sheffield. Absolutely love it. And the queue was just starting to die down then. So they'd had a really, really busy day. They'd done really well. The queue at the beginning of the day snaked round the block as usual. And they looked pretty frazzled, to be honest. And which is why the day before, I took them all a box of Krispy Kreme donuts, because, I've worked in retail. I worked in retail for 10 years, and it's hard. You forget that bit. It's hard, man. You stood on your feet all day. You're dealing with people, some of them not too friendly. And retail in general, it's just hard. So I think, think of your retail people, because, they have a hard job to do, and give them a compliment, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Perhaps not the last 2. Ask them first. They might not be into that sort of stuff, but just be nice. Just be nice. That's what I'm saying. So loaded them up with donuts the day before in preparation. And yeah, like I said, they've done really well. So this is what I got from Bear Tree on the day. Really pleased with what I got. And just a couple of things. A couple of tips. So I'm not leaving them to the end of the video, because no one watches the end of videos, do they? If you haven't got what you wanted on Record Store Day, don't panic. Don't go on eBay. Don't give in to the flippers. Don't pay more than you should do. A lot of this stuff is going online in the next couple of days anyway. So look around all the record shops. Check the list of what they've got remaining, because they're all posting them up there. And you can still get them at retail price. And the same titles don't sell out anyway. You'd be surprised. Some titles that vanish from certain shops stick around in others. Also, keep an eye out if you're after a title and you're thinking, I want it, but I don't want to pay that much for it. Just wait. I've got so many titles from Record Store Day by just waiting. Sometimes even a year later, I've waited and got them half price. And I think there's 2 titles on my list that are really expensive that I'm not paying those prices for, and I'm hoping over the next couple of months that they'll reduce, and I'll hopefully be able to get them. So patience, and look around, shop around. Don't go on eBay, shop around. And yes, I got most of the stuff I wanted. The other stuff I'm just going to hold out for and just see what happens over the next couple of weeks or months. But anyway, let's get down to the stuff that I actually got. And my pick of Record Store Day 2026 was this title, and I'm really pleased I managed to pick it up. So this is Ike White's 1977 album, Changing Times. I stumbled across this album a few years ago. I can't remember how I did it. With me, it tends to be I'm looking to hear something and I stumble across something else. I think that's what happened with this album. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I'll probably do a video on it at a later date. But if you've not heard it, go on YouTube and listen to it. It's an amazing album. And this album was recorded while Ike was in prison. And there's a great story behind that as well. But the album is, I was listening to it again this afternoon. It's just superb. It's like a mixture of soul, funk, bit jazzy in parts, instrumental and vocals, and his guitar playing, especially on it, is just sublime. And it's got quite like a hippie type element to it. There's about 3 10-minute tracks on here where he's allowed to like stretch out, and a bit like the Shuggy Otis sound of his albums, and a bit of Tim Buckley, I always think, thrown in. Sublime, absolutely sublime. Honestly, if you've never heard it, check it out. And this is a black vinyl reissue. Oh, I showed you that. You know what black vinyl looks like, don't you? And it has an insert with all the story. Look how cool, like, wow, what a dude, with his story on there. So yeah, definitely recommend checking that one out. Ike White, Changing Times. Have a look for it. You don't miss out on it. It's a great album, superb. So I was really chuffed to pick that up. The next one is, again, quite a cheap price. Amusement Park, self-titled album. I'm not sure of the date, but I've listened to a bit of it. It sounds a bit like 80s soul and funk. Bit of a sort of Parliament type edge to it, late Parliament edge to it, with a bit of disco thrown in. But I like the sound of that, and it was cheap. Well, cheap for Record Store Day anyway. And this is like a reissue of their album, but it's got the singles. They put the 12-inch versions on them rather than the LP, the standard size length versions that were probably on the LP. They put the 2 12-inch extended mixers on there, and it comes on, obviously, popcorn coloured vinyl. You don't get any popcorn with it, unfortunately. And I don't know about you, but that's crying out to be a die-cut sleeve, isn't it? You remember like the Raspberries Side 3 album, like that? It's crying out for it. They missed a trick there, but yeah. Amusement Park, self-titled album. I'll probably, do reviews on these albums, unfortunately for you a lot, at a later date when I listen to them properly. This is another one I was pleased to get. This is Blonde on Blonde's Rebirth. Quite a psyche type album. The only track I know on it is Castles in the Sky, which is an amazing track. So I'm hoping the album is... the rest of the album is just as good. This is on amber vinyl. Vinyl has been out of print and completely unavailable until now. Their second most successful studio album, ninth from 1970. Look at those dudes. So I'm looking forward to delving into that. A bit of psych there. So yeah. And the next one is a little bit of an insider secret. When I got to the record shop today, the guy said, I've been watching a few of your videos, which was nice, and he said, I've got an album that I think you'll really like. And it's been issued, but it's sort of like a secret. Only certain shops had it, and only certain shops were available to sell it. So he said, do you want a copy? And the way he bigged it up, it sounded amazing. And he says, I think you'll love it. And he only had one copy, and he let me have it, which was really nice. And it's an Elton John album from I think it's from the 60s, that was unreleased at the time. And he said, I think you'll really like it. It's got sort of like, but he said, it's got like a bit of a country edge, he said. So I said, well, fair enough, I'll give it a go. It's really nice of you, thank you very much. And he passed me this. And although it does look a bit familiar from the cover, and I have given it a little bit of a listen, it's quite country edge, to be honest with you, for Elton John. But he said, yeah, completely rare, completely unreleased. He said it's probably not available in any of the shops in the UK, so I don't know if you US buyers will have more luck. But yeah, I was staggered by that. An unreleased Elton John album for Record Store Day, fantastic. And but it does look like somebody else. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, really chuffed to pick that up. So thanks for that. And okay, next compilation on soul jazz. Obviously, power pop. Soul jazz do amazing compilations. It's what they're known for, and they've done it so well for so many years now. And I couldn't pass this by. Power pop, American power pop for the now generation, 1977 to 1981, and on exclusive red vinyl, which I'll show you now. And also, I'm not going to show it you, but Soul Jazz have the smallest download codes known to man. I mean, I think you have to be a borrower to read them. That's a lovely red vinyl, like translucent red vinyl. And I don't recognise any of the bands or artists listed on the back, which is always good because it just means it's something new to explore. And like I say, Soul Jazz do compilations so well. So album comes with extensive sleeve notes and exclusive photography and download code that only a borrower could read, and 15 rare USA punk power pop classics. So yeah, right up my alley, that one. So yeah, pleased to pick that up. That'll probably get a wider release at some point on black vinyl, I would have thought. Next up, an album by an artist again who I really love and whose prices for original albums have shot up over the last 5 or 6 years. I think this has been a gap, so I thought this was a good time to fill it, as it were. Gil Scott-Heron's Reflections. I'm a big Gil Scott-Heron fan. This is one of the gaps I've got. I've got most of his albums, but this one's always passed me by for some reason. So again, it's on Culture Factory, purple and violet translucent vinyl from 1981. Comes with the inner sleeve with lyrics and stuff. And this was quite interesting because I think obviously originally it was issued on Arista, and Arista had that sort of like Sky type label at one point, didn't they? Which they've reproduced but left the logo off, which was interesting. I don't know why they didn't put their own logo on it really, but yeah, that was quite interesting. But yeah, Gil Scott-Heron's Reflections. Really pleased to get that because like I said, I've been after it for quite a while now, so that was great to get. And lastly, an album that I'm glad I didn't have to ring round the shops or email the shops after Record Store Day to see if they had any, because you don't really want to be emailing shops saying, have you got any spunk left? But fortunately, Bear Tree did. So this is Spunk's Tighten Up, and transparent edition, red vinyl for Record Store Day. Love the label on this as well, Gold Coast. I like that little logo on a bright red vinyl. And Spunk are sort of like a disco type band from the 70s, obviously. Oh, from the 80s, early 80s. Yeah, I've been after a copy of that for a while yet now, and you wouldn't mess with her, would you? I mean, look at that Bullworkers. They were all the rage in the 80s, weren't they? I never saw anybody actually develop any muscles from them, but yeah, and yeah, she has been working out, hasn't she? But yeah, great disco album. So pleased to get a bit of spunk, and yeah, that was my Record Store Day. So yeah, really chuffed by that. 6 out of the 9 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once said. And yeah, I'll start looking for maybe a few other titles that I wanted further down the line, maybe in sales, or just maybe I might come across them in other shops or anything like that. But I'm well chuffed for that. So that's my Record Store Day for 2026 over and done with. And it was difficult this year. There was a lot of titles that I would have gone for, but yeah, it just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? Well, it does with me anyway. So I'm slowing down now. I've bought so many records over the past 2 months. It's ridiculous, more than I can cope with or listen to at the moment. So I'm slowing down. No shops, no fairs, maybe the odd new release, but that's it. So I'm going to try and enjoy what I've got. But I've said that before, haven't I? That's probably why I've got 100 plus records upstairs that I haven't looked at over the past couple of years. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So thanks for your patience. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing. And just generally thanks for putting up with me, to be honest with you, because I know it's not easy at times, because I struggle to put up with myself as well, to be honest. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.